In 2022, a report surfaced that shouldn't exist. It didn't come from a UFO subreddit or a grainy TikTok. It came from the main astronomical observatory of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. Two independent meteor stations turned their cameras to the sky. They were looking for meteors, but what they caught made our most advanced fighter jets look like they were flying in slow motion. According to their data, they tracked objects moving at speeds up to 1 million kilometers per hour. Let me repeat that, 1 million. For comparison, the International Space Station orbits Earth at about 28,000 kilometers per hour. Then, there are the phantoms. No visible propulsion, no sonic boom, just dark, phantom shapes. Today on Relic and Anomaly, we're investigating the so-called Kyiv phantoms. Was this a glitch, a weapon, or the best accidental evidence yet that we are not alone? According to the study, the researchers used synchronized cameras with exposure times below 1 millisecond. Led by B.E. Zhilyaev, they divided what they saw into two groups. First, cosmics, bright objects, more luminous than the sky. Strange, but maybe explainable. The second group was built different, the phantoms. The report describes these as coal-black objects that seemed to swallow light. The team claimed they were flying between 3 and 12 kilometers up, sometimes alone, sometimes in groups, what they called squadrons, zipping across the frame. They tracked the dark objects moving up to 15 kilometers per second, 54,000 kilometers per hour. So what do we actually know for sure? First, the data is real. The observatory is a legitimate institution, and their cameras did record dark, fast-moving objects. Something physical passed in front of those lenses. Second, the sky over Ukraine at the time was full of artillery, drones, and missiles. Fast-moving objects are exactly what you'd expect in a war zone. The real question is not, did something fly by? But how far away was it really? To answer that, the team used a technique called colorimetry. Basically, they checked how much the atmosphere dimmed and blurred the object to guess its distance. From that, they concluded the phantoms were high in the atmosphere and meters across. But if that distance was wrong, everything else collapses. When the paper got out, the scientific community pounced. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb and others pointed to a little thing called the distance illusion. A small object close to the camera can look like a huge object far away. Think of a fly buzzing right in front of your face versus a jet on the horizon. Critics argued the phantoms could easily be artillery, missiles, or even insects streaking close to the lens. Just ordinary things, not gigantic craft at impossible speeds. They also raised another point: friction. An object moving through dense air should compress the atmosphere into blazing plasma. It should glow like a star and create a dramatic trail. But the phantoms were described as pitch black, with no glow at all. The National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine eventually flagged the report for serious errors and suggested the phantoms were likely misidentified, probably weapons or debris closer than the team believed. The original researchers didn't just pack up and go home, but the astronomers defended their conclusions. They argued that their two-station setup and their measurements of atmospheric fading ruled out insects and simple shells, and they pointed to cases where the objects appeared to move in ways ballistics shouldn't, changing direction or appearing in coordinated groups. And that leaves us with a choice. Either experienced astronomers at a national observatory misjudged their data, or, in the chaos of conflict, they captured something that really shouldn't be there at all. If the skeptics are right, this is a story about how easy it is to be fooled by numbers. But if the observers are right about even one of those measurements, then the fastest thing in our skies might not be ours. What do you think? A mistake born in a war zone? Or did the fog of war show us a phantom?